The grand hall of the Galactic Concord fell silent as Samantha Wright walked toward the speaking platform. The silence didn't last long. Soon, quiet laughter and whispers filled the room. Sam kept her head high. After 3 years as Earth's ambassador, she was used to this treatment. "The human delegation has the floor for 3 standard minutes," said the tall, blue-skinned Zekthari representative. His voice carried a hint of amusement. Sam nodded to her companion, Alan Grayson. The military advisor stood straight in his simple black uniform. No medals, no fancy decorations like the other species wore. Humans kept things practical, a trait that made the older races look down on them. "Distinguished members of the Concord," Sam began, her voice clear and strong. "Our deep space stations have picked up large fleet movements from the Vexar Empire. In the past 30 days, they have taken over 3 star systems. Their path shows they will reach both human space and conquered territories within 1 Earth year." The room erupted with louder laughter now. A tall, thin alien with gray skin and 6 fingers on each hand stood up. "The human speaks of danger again," said Ambassador Krell of the Drell Cavor. "Always seeing threats where there are none. The Vexar are simply settling border disputes in their region. Nothing that concerns us." Sam tried to stay calm. This was the 6th time she had brought evidence about the Vexar. 6 times they had laughed at her. "We have video proof of their ships destroying all life on Proxima B," she said, holding up a data chip. "They don't seek peace. They want to wipe out all other life forms." The Grand Arbiter, the oldest and most respected member of the Concord, waved his hand. "We have reviewed your evidence before, Ambassador Wright. Our experts say these recordings could be natural disasters or even faked." Alan stepped forward. "With respect, sir, the Vexar have already sent scouts into our space. We destroyed one last week. They are coming." This caused a stir, but not the kind they hoped for. The Mercian delegate, a cat-like being with golden fur, hissed with laughter. "The humans destroyed a ship and now claim it was an enemy scout? How convenient. Perhaps it was just a traitor who refused to give you more advanced technology." Sam's time was almost up. She tried one last time. "We ask for a united defense plan. The Vexar are a threat to us all. If we work together—" "Your time has ended, human," the Zekathari announced, cutting her off. "The Concord thanks you for your concerns." As Sam and Alan walked out of the Grand Hall, the meetings continued. The great alien races discussed trade routes, cultural exchanges, and art festivals. No one talked about the Vexar again. "That went as well as expected," Alan said quietly as they reached the small office given to the human delegation. It was the smallest space on the station, tucked away in a back corner. Sam sat down at her desk and rubbed her temples. "Why won't they listen? The evidence is clear." "They don't want to listen," Alan replied. "They see us as children who just learned to walk among stars. They gave us their outdated faster-than-light drives 50 years ago and expected us to be grateful forever." Sam nodded. "And instead we improved the designs and began exploring on our own." Alan's communication device beeped. He looked at the message and his face turned serious. "It's from Admiral Blackwood. The Vexar have changed course. They're moving faster than we thought." "How long do we have? 3 months, maybe less." Sam stood up quickly. "We need to tell the Concord right away." Alan shook his head. "The Admiral says it's time for Plan B. We tried diplomacy. Now we protect ourselves. Project Supernova? But it's not ready yet." "It has to be," Alan said simply. Sam fell silent. For 10 years, while pretending to be weak and primitive, humanity had been building in secret. The Concord races had given humans old technology thinking it would take centuries for them to improve it. They were wrong. 3 days later, Sam and Alan left the Concord station on their small ship. No one came to say goodbye. Few even noticed they were leaving. "Ambassador Wright," called a soft voice as they prepared to board. They turned to see Zia, a young Alarian. Her people were newer to the Concord and often treated almost as badly as humans. "You're leaving? For good?" Zia asked. Sam nodded. "We've tried to warn everyone. No one will listen." "I believe you," Zia said quietly. "My people have seen the Vexar before long ago. They destroyed one of our colony worlds, but the Concord said it was just a natural disaster. Alan looked at Zia carefully. Why are you telling us this now? Because I hacked into the deep space arrays last night, Zia admitted. I saw them, the Vexar fleet. It's much bigger than even you thought. Sam touched Zia's arm gently. Come with us. Zia looked surprised. To Earth? But my people? Tell your government to prepare, Sam said. And if they won't listen, save who you can. As their ship pulled away from the station, Sam looked out at the stars. The conquered worlds glittered in the darkness, beautiful and unaware of what was coming. Admiral Blackwood says the first 5 ships are ready, Alan said, reading another message. The Defiance will be fully operational in 2 weeks. Will it be enough? Sam asked. Alan didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was steady. It has to be. The Vexar don't know what we've built. No one does. The ship entered faster than light travel, heading back to Earth. Behind them, the Galactic Concord continued its meetings. They discussed art and trade and thought themselves the height of civilization. They didn't know that one of the species they laughed at would soon be their only hope. As Earth came into view days later, Sam saw the defense platforms circling the planet. To the Concord, they looked like simple protection against asteroids. Only humans knew the truth. Each platform could connect to form a shield strong enough to hold back a fleet. On the far side of the moon, hidden from any watching eyes, the Supernova fleet was almost ready. Ships powered by the energy of stars, themselves built with technology the conquered races believed impossible for humans to create. We tried peace, Sam whispered as their ship docked at Luna Base. They should have listened. Admiral Nicole Blackwood met them at the airlock. Her uniform was crisp, her eyes sharp and focused. Ambassador Wright, Chief Advisor Grayson, she said with a nod. Welcome home, you're just in time. In time for what? Sam asked. To see humanity step out of the shadows, Nicole replied. The Vexar will be here in 6 weeks. When they arrive, the galaxy will learn what humans are truly capable of when pushed too far. Behind her, through a large viewing window, Sam could see the Defiance, the flagship of the Supernova fleet. It was massive, beautiful, and like nothing the galaxy had ever seen before. And it was ready to fight. The Armstrong shipyards hidden within the asteroid belt buzzed with activity. Workers moved quickly between the massive ships, making final checks and adjustments. Admiral Nicole Blackwood stood at the main observation window, watching as the Defiance powered up its systems for the final test. Beautiful, isn't she? Asked Daniel Harper as he joined her. The fleet engineer had dark circles under his eyes. He hadn't slept much in the past week. Will she be ready in time? Nicole asked, not taking her eyes off the ship. Daniel nodded. The Nova drive is stable. We finished the last test yesterday. All 12 ships are ready for battle. The Nova drive was humanity's greatest achievement. The aliens of the Galactic Concord believed humans were still using basic ion engines and simple laser weapons. They had no idea that Earth scientists had created something new, a drive that could harness the power of a star. Admiral, we have a problem, said Olivia Rodriguez as she rushed into the room. The security chief's face was grim. The Vexar fleet has changed course. They're not stopping at the outer colonies, they're coming straight for Earth. Nicole's expression didn't change, but her hands tightened on the railing. How long? 4 days, maybe less. Daniel let out a low whistle. They must have spotted our defense platforms. No, Nicole said. They think we're weak. They want to crush us first, then deal with the conquered races. They think taking Earth will be easy. Olivia handed over a data tablet. We intercepted this transmission between Vexar ships. Their scouts reported our visible defenses as primitive and limited. They don't know about the Supernova fleet. Nicole smiled slightly. Good. That's exactly what we wanted. She tapped her communication device. This is Admiral Blackwood. All ships prepare for immediate deployment. Operation Sunburst begins in 6 hours. Across the shipyard, lights flashed as crews rushed to their stations. The 12 ships of the Supernova fleet began powering up their drives. The Defiance, largest of them all, glowed with a soft blue light as its massive engines came to life. Sam Wright and Alan Grayson stood in the command center on Luna Base, watching the activity. After years of being ignored and laughed at by the Concorde, it was almost time to show the galaxy what humanity could really do. "I sent one last message to the Concorde," Sam said quietly. Alan looked at her with surprise. "Why? They won't listen?" "I told them the Vexar are heading to Earth. I told them we'll handle it ourselves." She smiled slightly. "I also suggested they might want to watch." Alan laughed. "I wish I could see their faces when they realize what we've built." "Ambassador Wright," called a voice from across the room. It was Kelly Foster, the communications officer. "We're receiving a message from the Concord station." Sam raised her eyebrows in surprise. "Put it through." The large screen at the front of the room flickered to life. The Grand Arbiter himself appeared, his ancient face lined with concern. "Ambassador Wright," he said, "we have received your message about the Vexar fleet. Our long-range scanners confirm they are approaching your system at high speed." "Yes," Sam replied calmly. "We are aware." The Grand Arbiter looked uncomfortable. "The Concorde wishes to offer assistance. We could have ships at Earth within 2 weeks. Sam exchanged a glance with Alan. 2 weeks. Long after the Vexar would have destroyed Earth, if humans were as helpless as the Concorde believed. "Thank you for your offer," Sam said politely, "but that won't be necessary. Earth can defend itself." The Grand Arbiter's expression changed to one of pity. "Ambassador, you don't understand. Our scans show over 500 Vexar warships heading toward you. Your planetary defenses cannot possibly—" "We appreciate your concern," Sam cut in. "But we have the situation under control. Right out." The screen went dark. Alan shook his head. "Even now they think we're helpless." "Not for long," Sam replied. 3 days later, the Vexar fleet entered the Sol system. Just as Admiral Blackwood had predicted, they bypassed the outer planets and headed straight for Earth. Their massive ships moved in attack formation, weapons ready. General William Carter watched from his command post as Earth's visible defenses engaged the enemy. The orbital platforms fired their lasers, taking down a few of the smaller Vexar ships. It looked like humanity was putting up a fight, but only a weak one. "Sir, the Vexar command ship is broadcasting," reported Kelly Foster. "They're demanding our immediate surrender." William nodded. "Put them through." The screen showed a Vexar commander. The alien had gray skin with red markings and eyes that looked like black pools. Its voice translated into a harsh mechanical sound. "Humans, your world is surrounded. Your defenses are failing. Surrender now, and some of you may live as slaves." William stood tall. "This is General Carter of Earth. Defense Force, we do not surrender." The Vexar commander made a sound that might have been laughter. "Then you will die. All of you." "Perhaps," William replied calmly. "But not today." He cut the transmission and touched his earpiece. "Admiral Blackwood, the enemy is in position. You're clear to engage." On the far side of Neptune, hidden from the Vexar sensors, the Supernova fleet prepared to jump. Admiral Blackwood sat in the command chair of the Defiance, surrounded by her crew. "All ships, power up Nova drives and prepare for synchronized jump," she ordered. "Operation Sunburst is a go." The 12 ships of the fleet began to glow brighter. The Nova drive didn't just move the ships through space, it allowed them to harness the power of stars themselves. "Nova drives at full power," reported Daniel from his station. "Ready to jump on your mark." Nicole looked around at her crew, humans who had worked in secret for years, preparing for this moment. "Jump." In an instant, the fleet vanished from Neptune's shadow. When they reappeared, they were in the middle of the Vexar fleet surrounding their command ship. The alien vessels, caught by surprise, tried to turn their weapons toward the new threat, but they were too slow. "All ships, release Nova Pulse," Nicole ordered. The Defiance released a wave of energy that rippled through space. Where it touched Vexar ships, their shields failed instantly. The smaller human vessels moved with incredible speed, their weapons cutting through the now defenseless enemy ships. On the Concorde station, The Grand Arbiter and dozens of alien representatives watched in shock as the battle unfolded on their screens. What they had thought would be the quick destruction of a primitive world had turned into something very different. "What are those ships?" asked the Martian delegate, his golden fur standing on end. "How can the humans have such technology?" "No," one answered. They could only watch as the Supernova fleet tore through the Vexar Armada like it was made of paper. Within an hour, half the enemy fleet was destroyed. The rest turned and fled, jumping away as fast as their engines could carry them. In the command center on Luna Base, Sam and Alan watched the victory unfold. After years of being dismissed and laughed at, humanity had shown its true strength. "I think," Sam said with a small smile, "the conquered might be willing to listen to us now." News of the battle spread across the galaxy faster than light. The Galactic Concord called an emergency meeting just hours after the last Vexar ship fled Earth space. For the first time ever, the human delegation was given a place at the main table. Sam Wright entered the grand hall with Alan Grayson at her side. This time there was no laughter, no whispers. The room fell completely silent as they walked to their seats. The Grand Arbiter stood at the center of the room. His usually calm face showed worry and confusion. "This emergency session of the Galactic Concord is now open," he announced. "We are here to discuss the unexpected events in the Sol system." Sam nodded politely. "Thank you for calling this meeting. Earth appreciates the Concord's concern." "Concern?" The Drelkavor ambassador stood up, his gray face flushed with a darker color. "Is that what you call it? Your species just revealed weapons technology that breaks at least 15 Concord treaties." "Treaties that Earth was never invited to sign," Alan replied calmly. "Treaties that the Concord used to keep newer species weak while claiming to help them." The Grand Arbiter raised his hand for quiet. "Ambassador Wright, we have all seen the recordings of your fleet in action. The technology you call the Nova Drive is unlike anything we have encountered. Our scientists say it should not be possible. Yet it exists," Sam said. "And it saved Earth from the Vexar, a threat that the Concord refused to take seriously." The room filled with uneasy whispers. The Martian delegate's fur was still standing on end from fear. "How long has Earth possessed this technology? How many of these ships do you have?" Sam smiled slightly. "That information is classified, just as the Concord has kept its military secrets from Earth for decades." The Zekthari representative, who had once laughed at Sam, now looked at her with new eyes. "The human delegation has shown great resourcefulness. Perhaps it is time for the Concord to reconsider Earth's status." "Oh?" Sam raised an eyebrow. "And what status would that be?" "Full membership in the Concord," the Grand Arbiter said, "with all the rights and privileges that entails." Alan leaned forward. "Including seats on the Defense Council and access to all Concord technology?" "That would be part of the membership package, yes," the Grand Arbiter agreed, though he didn't look happy about it. Sam looked around the room at the alien faces watching her. For years they had treated humans as children. Now they were afraid. "Earth will consider your offer," she said. "But first, we need to discuss the Vexar. They retreated, but they will return. And next time, they will be prepared for the Supernova fleet." The Ilarian delegate Zia spoke up. "Ambassador Wright is right. My people have records of the Vexar from centuries ago. They never stop until they have destroyed their enemies completely. Which is why we must form a united defense," Sam continued. "Earth is willing to share some aspects of our Nova Drive technology with the Concord for defensive purposes only." This caused an even bigger stir in the room. The Drelkavor ambassador looked shocked. "You would share such technology?" "We would," Sam confirmed. "Because unlike some members of the Concord, humans understand that the Vexar are a threat to all life in the galaxy, not just to us." While the meeting continued on the Concord station, Admiral Nicole Blackwood and her fleet pursued the retreating Vexar ships. The Defiance led the way, its Nova Drive allowing it to travel faster than any ship the galaxy had ever seen. "We've tracked them to the Tau Ceti system," reported Olivia Rodriguez. They're regrouping at their forward base there. Nicole nodded. How many ships? At least 300, including what looks like reinforcements. Daniel Harper looked up from his console. The Nova drives are operating at full capacity. All ships report ready for combat. Nicole stood up and looked at the star map. The Vexar thought they had escaped to safety. They were wrong. All ships prepare to jump. We're going to hit them before they can organize their defenses. The Supernova fleet vanished from normal space, only to reappear moments later in the heart of the Vexar staging area. This time, the alien ships were not completely surprised. Their weapons were ready and they fought back hard. Energy beams cut through space. Ships exploded on both sides. The human vessels were more advanced, but the Vexar had numbers on their side. The Defiance took a direct hit to its port side. The ship shook violently. Damage report, Nicole called. Shield holding at 60%, Daniel reported. Minor damage to the outer hull. The Nova drive is stable. Olivia pointed to her screen. Admiral, look at this. The Vexar ships are forming a new pattern. They're trying to surround us. Nicole smiled. Just as we expected. Signal the fleet. Execute pattern Omega. The 12 human ships suddenly broke formation. Instead of fighting as a group, they scattered in different directions. The Vexar, confused by this tactic, tried to follow. Then, one by one, the human ships activated their Nova pulses. Waves of energy rippled through space from all directions. Caught in the crossfire, Vexar ships lost power and drifted helplessly. Their command ship is trying to escape, Olivia reported. Not today, Nicole said firmly. Target their engines. I want that ship disabled, not destroyed. The Defiance fired a carefully aimed beam. The Vexar command ship's engines died, leaving it floating in space. Prepare a boarding party, Nicole ordered. I want their navigation data. We need to find their homeworld. Back at the Concord station, the emergency meeting had turned into serious negotiations. The Concord races were no longer laughing at humans. Now they were offering treaties, trade deals, and military alliances. Sam listened to their offers with a calm face. Earth appreciates the Concord's new willingness to work together, but we have conditions. What conditions? Asked the Grand Arbiter cautiously. First, all Concord races must commit ships and resources to fight the Vexar. This is not just Earth's war. The delegates looked at each other uneasily, but many nodded in agreement. Second, the practice of giving outdated technology to newer species must end. All members share knowledge equally from now on. This caused more concern, but the Grand Arbiter reluctantly agreed. And finally, Sam said, the Concord must reach out to other primitive species that you have ignored or dismissed. The Vexar threat requires all of us to work together. As the negotiations continued, Sam received a message from Admiral Blackwood. The Supernova fleet had won another victory. More importantly, they had captured a Vexar commander and were learning about the enemy's plans. Sam looked around at the aliens who had once laughed at humanity. Now they were listening. Now they were asking for help. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity was no longer the joke of the Conquered. They were its hope. On board the Defiance, Nicole looked at the star map showing the location of the Vexar, homeworld. The real war was just beginning. But this time, humanity wouldn't fight alone. The captured Vexar commander sat across from General William Carter in the secure room aboard the Defiance. The alien was tall and thin, with gray skin marked by red lines that seemed to pulse with light. Its black eyes revealed nothing. You understand our language now? William asked. The translator device on the table beeped. Your device translates adequately, the Vexar replied. Its voice came through as flat and emotionless. Good. Then you can tell us why your people attacked Earth. The Vexar's head tilted slightly. We attack all worlds. All life that is not Vexar must be removed. This is our purpose. William leaned forward. Why? What did other species ever do to you? Do? The alien seemed confused by the question. They exist. That is enough. The galaxy belongs to the Vexar. All others are trespassers. Admiral Nicole Blackwood watched this exchange from behind a one-way window. Next to her, Olivia. Rodriguez shook her head. They really believe it, Olivia said quietly. Their whole culture is built around destroying other life forms. Nicole nodded. The data we took from their ship confirms it. They've wiped out at least 7 advanced civilizations in the last century alone. What about their homeworld? The coordinates we found are protected better than anything I've ever seen, Nicole finished. Their home system has thousands of warships and defense platforms. Even the Supernova fleet couldn't break through alone. The door opened and Daniel Harper entered with a data tablet. His face looked grim. Admiral, we've decoded more of their battle plans. The attack on Earth was just the beginning. They have fleets moving toward 12 other inhabited systems, including 3 conquered worlds. Nicole took the tablet and studied it. They're spreading out, attacking on multiple fronts. The conquered races won't be able to stop them without our help, Daniel said. Nicole handed the tablet back. Then I guess it's time to see if our new allies are serious about working together. She tapped her communication device. Get me Ambassador Wright on the Concord station. On the Concord station, things had changed dramatically. The human delegation had been moved from their small back office to a large suite near the center of the station. Sam Wright now stood before the full defense council of the Concord, showing them the data from the captured Vexar ship. As you can see, she explained, the Vexar are planning coordinated attacks across the galaxy. No single world or fleet can stand against them alone. The council members, who represented the 12 most powerful races in the Concord, looked at the battle plans with growing concern. The Rigelian colonies will be hit first, noted the Zekthari counselor. They have minimal defenses. The Martian homeworld is targeted in the second wave, added another. Even our fleet could not withstand such numbers. The Grand Arbiter, who led the council, turned to Sam. What does Earth propose? A united defense, Sam replied. Earth will share Nova Drive technology with the Conquered. Not for new weapons, but to improve your existing ships. Faster engines, stronger shields, and in return the Concord will commit its fleets to a joint command structure. Joint command? The Drell Kavor counselor looked offended. You expect us to take orders from humans? Sam shook her head. Not from humans. From the best military. Minds of all our species working together. Admiral Blackwood has already offered to serve under a Concord admiral if that's what it takes to win this war. This surprised the council. The Mercian representative's ears perked up. Your admiral would accept such an arrangement? This isn't about pride, Sam said firmly. It's about survival. The Vexar won't stop until all other life in the galaxy is exterminated. We either stand together or we die alone. The council chambers fell silent as the members considered her words. Finally, the Grand Arbiter nodded. The Concord agrees to your terms, Ambassador Wright. We will form a united fleet to face the Vexar threat. Within days, ships from 20 different worlds gathered at the Rigelian system. Human technicians worked around the clock to install modified Nova Drive components on Allied vessels. The technology wasn't as powerful as the full drives on the Supernova fleet, but it greatly improved the speed and shield strength of the conquered ships. Admiral Blackwood stood on the bridge of the Defiance, looking out at the massive fleet now under her command. Despite her offer to serve under a conquered admiral, the Defense Council had unanimously voted to put her in charge of the operation. The Vexar fleet will reach the system in 2 hours, reported Olivia. 300 ships, just as we predicted. Nicole nodded. Are the conquered ships in position? Yes, Admiral. They're following the plan exactly. The plan was simple but daring. Instead of meeting the Vexar head-on, the Allied fleet had hidden most of its ships behind Rigel's 4th moon. Only a small group of vessels, including the Defiance, remained visible to draw the enemy in. When the Vexar fleet arrived, they moved directly toward the small group of defenders, just as Nicole had predicted. Their confidence was high after years of easy victories against isolated worlds. They've taken the bait, Olivia confirmed. Their fleet is moving into the target zone. Nicole smiled slightly. Signal the Concord ships, execute on my mark. As the Vexar fleet moved deeper into the system, Nicole watched the tactical display carefully. timing would be critical. Now, she ordered. From behind the moon, 200 Concorde warships appeared. Their enhanced engines glowed with the blue light of human Nova technology. They moved faster than any Concorde ships had ever moved before, surrounding the surprised Vexar fleet. All ships, release Nova pulses, Nicole commanded. The Defiance led the way, releasing a wave of energy that disabled dozens of enemy vessels instantly. Throughout the fleet, the upgraded Concorde ships followed suit with smaller but still effective pulses of their own. The Vexar, caught in the trap, fought back fiercely. Their weapons tore through space, destroying several Allied ships. But for the first time, they faced an enemy that could match their technology and numbers. The battle raged for hours. On the Concorde station, Sam and the Defense Council watched as the United Fleet pushed the Vexar back. Ship after ship fell on both sides, but the Allies held their formation, fighting as one. "It's working," the Zekthari counselor said with surprise in his voice. "The combined fleet is actually winning." Sam nodded. "This is just the beginning. The Vexar won't give up after one defeat." "No," agreed the Grand Arbiter. "But now we know they can be beaten, if we stand together." As the last Vexar ships retreated from the Regelian system, cheers erupted across the Allied fleet. It was the largest defeat the Vexar had ever suffered. On the Defiance, Nicole allowed herself a brief smile before turning to her crew. "Send word to all ships, well done today. But prepare for the next battle. The Vexar will be back and they'll be angry." Daniel looked up from his console. "Where to next, Admiral?" Nicole looked at the star map, where 12 red dots showed systems under threat. "Everywhere they are, we fight until the galaxy is safe." The war had truly begun. But now, the galaxy faced it united, and it had all started because a species everyone laughed at had refused to give up. 6 months passed. 6 months of battles across a dozen star systems. The United Fleet won some fights and lost others, but they never stopped pushing back against the Vexar invasion. With each victory, more worlds joined the alliance. Species that had once been enemies now fought side by side. On the Concorde station, the War Council gathered for its daily meeting. The room looked different now. The grand decorations were gone, replaced by star maps and tactical displays. Ambassador Sam Wright sat at the main table alongside representatives from 30 different worlds. "The Vexar have pulled back from the Centauri sector," reported Admiral Krell of the Drelkavor fleet. Once he had laughed at humans. Now he wore a modified human communication device on his wrist and spoke with respect. "Our forces have secured all 3 planets there." "Good work, Admiral," Sam said. "What about the situation at Tau Ceti?" The Mercian commander's fur rippled with pride. "Victory, Ambassador. The enhanced shields on our ships held against their new weapons. We destroyed 47 enemy vessels and lost only 12 of our own." The Grand Arbiter, who now led the War Council instead of the peaceful Concorde, nodded in satisfaction. "The tide is turning. For the first time, the Vexar are retreating across multiple fronts." "Don't celebrate too soon," cautioned Zia, the young Ilarian who had become Sam's close advisor. "My people's historical records show the Vexar often retreat to gather strength for a bigger attack." Sam nodded. "Zia is right. This isn't over yet." "What's the status of the Supernova fleet?" A holographic display activated, showing Admiral Nicole Blackwood's face. She looked tired, but determined. "The fleet is ready, Ambassador. All 12 ships have been repaired and upgraded. The new energy focusing system works even better than we hoped." "And the plan?" asked the Grand Arbiter. Nicole's image was replaced by a star map showing a distant system near the galactic core. "We've confirmed this is the Vexar homeworld." Our captured commander finally broke under questioning and revealed their defense plans. The map zoomed in to show a heavily fortified star system. Red dots representing enemy ships and defense platforms surrounded the 3rd planet. Their home fleet includes over 2,000 warships, Nicole continued, plus defense platforms, minefields, and energy barriers. A direct assault would be suicide even with our combined forces. "Then what do you propose?" asked Krell. Nicole smiled slightly. We don't attack their defenses. We go around them. The map shifted to show a different approach vector. Our scientists have discovered a weakness in space-time near their system. Using the Supernova fleet's Nova drives at maximum power, we can create a temporary wormhole directly to their homeworld, bypassing all outer defenses. The council members murmured in surprise and concern. Zia leaned forward. Such a powerful energy release could damage the fabric of space itself. It's a risk, Nicole admitted, but our calculations show it should be stable enough for a small strike force to get through. Sam looked at the star map thoughtfully. A small force? Against an entire planet? We don't need to conquer them, Nicole explained. Just deliver our message. The meeting continued for hours as they refined the plan. Finally, the Grand Arbiter called for a vote. One by one, the council members agreed. It was time to end the war. 3 days later, the Supernova fleet gathered at the edge of Vexar space. The 12 ships formed a perfect circle, their Nova drives powering up to levels never before attempted. On the Defiance, Admiral Blackwood watched as the energy readings climbed higher and higher. Status report, she ordered. Nova drives at 80% capacity and rising, reported Daniel Harper. All ships are in position and synchronized. Olivia Rodriguez looked up from her security station. The strike team is ready in the landing. Bay? General Carter says they're good to go. Nicole nodded. Begin final countdown. All ships, prepare to release Nova Pulse on my mark. As the countdown reached its final seconds, Nicole thought about how far they had come. From being laughed at by the galaxy to leading a united alliance against the greatest threat any of them had ever faced. Nova Pulse, now, she commanded. All 12 ships released their energy at once. The space between them shimmered and then tore open, creating a swirling vortex of blue and white light. Wormhole stable, Daniel reported, though his voice shook slightly. Path to target confirmed. Launch the strike team, Nicole ordered. A small, sleek ship shot forward from the Defiance's bay and plunged into the wormhole. On board, General William Carter and a team of 20 soldiers from 10 different species braced themselves as reality twisted around them. In an instant, they were there, orbiting the Vexar homeworld. The planet below was gray and red, covered with massive cities and industrial complexes. We're through, William reported back to the fleet. No sign they've detected us yet. Beginning approach. The strike ship activated its stealth systems and descended toward the largest structure on the planet's surface, the central command tower where the Vexar leadership gathered. On the Concord station, Sam and the War Council watched nervously. As data streamed in from the mission, the wormhole remained stable, but it was starting to affect nearby space. They didn't have much time. Strike team has reached the target, came William's voice over the communication system. Deploying now. The council members held their breath. This was the moment that would decide the fate of the galaxy. An hour passed with no word from the strike team. Then, too, the wormhole began to fluctuate dangerously. We can't maintain the connection much longer, Nicole reported from the Defiance. The space-time fabric is becoming unstable. Just as they were about to lose hope, William's voice came through again. Mission accomplished. The device has been planted and activated. Returning to ship now. Relief washed over Sam's face. The device wasn't a weapon as the Vexar might have expected. It was a communication system unlike any ever built, one that would broadcast the truth directly into the minds of every Vexar on the planet. For centuries, the Vexar leaders had lied to their people, telling them that other species wanted to destroy them. The only way to survive, they claimed, was to strike first and eliminate all other life. Generation after generation had believed this lie and fought their endless war. Now they would know the truth. They would see the memories of the captured commander, see how the Alliance had treated him with respect and dignity. They would hear the offers of peace that their leaders had hidden from them. The strike ship emerged from the wormhole just as it began to collapse. Behind them, on the Vexar homeworld, a revolution had begun. 3 weeks later, The first peace delegation from Ider, the new Vexor government, arrived at the conquered station. The war was over. In the grand hall where Sam had once been laughed at, representatives from every world in the Alliance gathered to sign the new peace treaty. Humans stood proudly alongside the oldest races in the galaxy, no longer seen as primitive or weak. The galaxy had laughed at humanity once, but humanity had saved them all. As Sam signed her name to the treaty, she thought about how it had all started, with a fleet that no one believed could exist, built by a species no one took seriously. The Supernova fleet had changed everything, and the galaxy would never laugh at humanity again.